The internet is full of bad fitness advice. A lot of it just makes me want to roll my eyes. Others make me want to keep scrolling. Some of them make me want to say something about it, but I am not that type of person. I'm not going to put myself out there too much on the internet. But that being said, I am going to start calling out bad fitness advice because I think it's important for you as someone who is not a fitness influencer, not making money off of an audience or hype, who is just trying to look and feel your best, to understand what the difference is between something that is trendy and something that is trustworthy. So today we are going to dive into bad fitness advice on the internet and clear up a few things that I feel that you should know. Okay, so what has been driving me absolutely insane on the internet are 2 or 3 things, all having to do with body positivity and misinformation. So with this, the number one example is going to be an athlete's body being equated to being healthy. And this is very common during competitive seasons, such as the Olympics or world championships, things like that. With the Summer Olympics in 2024, this trend came around and it's been rolling through, repurposed through many accounts over the past year. And this is just showing videos or clips of female athletes of various sports and basically saying that this athlete's body is healthy, therefore you should not worry about your own body, or this is what it looks like to be an athlete, therefore you're an athlete too, so on and so forth. What I want you to know is that an athlete's body does not automatically equate to health. When it comes to being an athlete, there is a certain amount of body awareness and control that one must have, as well as mental awareness and control. So athletes, especially elite athletes, train for sport-specific performance. They're not training for overall well-being, nor are they training for health. As a matter of fact, a lot of elite athletes push their bodies to extremes in order to perform at a high level. And this is not sustainable for the average person. We're talking high training loads, sometimes super restrictive diets, constant injuries. Athletes train through high demand, high stress for sports. When this happens, their body develops because of these things. Someone who wants to have a better looking physique will have less stress or will manage their stress in a really productive way. So even just looking at an athlete and thinking, wow, I would like to have a body composition, or wow, I do have a body composition such as them, just remember they're under high demand and high stress. Not only this, is some athletes actually, again, push themselves into the extremes in order to be the best at their sport. So a couple of sports that we can look at for this is you would not look at a jockey and think, wow, I would love to be able to achieve their body, because jockeys are often, especially male jockeys, are often under 120 pounds. And this is done because jockeys have to be very lightweight so that their horse can go faster during a race. This leads to disordered eating, dehydration, nutrient deficiencies, etc. And I have personally worked with a male jockey. He told me that he went from 130 pounds to over 300 pounds as soon as he retired because he was able to eat again. So being malnourished, not having enough food, going into eating, and then because he wasn't being fed and didn't retain enough nutrition prior, he binge ate and gained weight massively afterward. So that is just one example of an athlete not being in a healthy state. Another athlete that we can think of is Venus Williams. She has Sjogren's syndrome, and Sjogren's syndrome is an autoimmune disease. She's the best at her sport, but that does not necessarily mean she's healthy. I'm not saying that she's unhealthy because she has an autoimmune disease, but you cannot tell that she has this disease simply by looking at her and by watching her perform her sport well. A few more athletes that you wouldn't be able to tell have a disease or condition simply by looking at them or watching them play their sport is Jay Cutler, He's the NFL quarterback and he has type 1 diabetes. Phil Mickelson lives with psoriatic arthritis. Shannon Box, an incredible soccer player, she has lupus. And there are so many more, such as Serena Williams. We have all watched her come out with a promotion or partnership with a GLP-1. Serena says that she could not lose weight, therefore she went on a GLP-1. Again, an incredible athlete in her sport, but she's having trouble metabolically being able to lose weight. And many people would look at Serena Williams and say, wow, this is someone that I aspire to look like or be like. Can you imagine? She is a phenomenal athlete. She has a body that wouldn't be considered the norm. She would have probably been told to lose weight, but here we can admire what she is and what she does through her sport, therefore she must be healthy. But that's not an assumption that should be made. Even Serena Williams has decided to make changes to her body because she didn't feel comfortable in it. A few more trends that are going around on social media, very much as I just mentioned, that are giving me the ick, especially from fitness influencers, is the trend with the reel that says follow somebody who is your same weight and height, here's my stat, or follow the people that look like you, or this is what it looks like to be a healthy woman who works out 5 days per week, hits 10,000 steps, has a glass of wine every weekend, so on and so forth. Again, it's not good for us to look at someone and make a decision to follow them or information on our health and well-being based on what they look like. But that is what the trend is going around right now. Again, when you see these trends and you see them on more than one account, or you see this a couple times through, this is a trend made by fitness influencers who are monetizing their audience through brand partnerships, through their own coaching program or business, or just through views on their social media account. They're willing to say and do many things in order to catch your attention and keep you bought in. And this is where we need to put facts over feelings. Another aspect of this that I truly just don't like is if you have decided that you do not like the way that you look or feel in your body and you want to make a change, why would you take advice from somebody who is in your position? Would you rather follow somebody who looks like you and is in your position so that you stay in your position when you want to change? Or would you follow somebody who shows you that they can make the transformation that you're looking for in a healthy and a science-backed and evidence-based way? That's how I would make my decision. Facts of our feelings and why this matters. Facts do not care about your bias or mine. And your body's physiology is your body's physiology. We need to focus on what matters. You can easily get manipulated by social media because creators learn and study how to manipulate your emotions, and they watch. They watch, this is what performs really well, therefore I'm going to make it again. This is, I see another creator doing this, therefore I'm going to recreate it for myself, because they're, again, trying to catch your attention and trying to keep your attention and your engagement in order to monetize you as a part of their audience. Very frankly, I'm a coach. I do use social media for my marketing, but in effort to give a good service, I stay science-backed and evidence-based with my practices as a coach. And even making a video such as this is not fun. I do not sound like a girl's girl by putting down others who use their social media in this way. I am a girl's girl in the way of I want you to be successful on your journey, and I'm willing to put myself out there in this manner, showing my frustrations with social media and fitness influencers on social media at the risk of sounding like a negative Nancy. But that being said, if you want to look and feel good in your body and to also be healthy, the things that you need to focus on are not going to sound sexy and they may not be appealing to you emotionally. But we need to focus on a few things. 1, body composition, which is how much lean mass you have compared to how much fat mass you have. Number 2, your relationship with food. You cannot live your life without eating. You need to have a good relationship with food. Number 3, you can also take a look at your abilities in terms of strength and performance with cardio. These are indicators of how healthy you are. Number 4 is your stress levels and your emotional regulation. These are also very important to look at. And finally, like whether you have sustainable habits in place to continue this for the rest of your life. A very important piece of advice that I received was that you have to imagine with everything that you do is, if I were to sustain this for the rest of my life, what would I need to add into it to make it sustainable? If you don't feel that you can do whatever diet or lifestyle that you have in place for the rest of your life, what areas can you make changes in to make it sustainable? When we start putting feelings in front of facts, we get stuck in misinformation loops, which takes us further away from our goals than we want to be. It also decreases our quality of life to get stuck in these loops. And my goal with this video here is to just point out how we can break the cycle of one of these loops right now. Look, I get it. It's really easy to scroll Instagram and get caught up with the hype and the trends that you see relentlessly and start to, again, feel as if it's true, but that's where we can break this cycle. So here's what I need you to do moving forward. Follow the experts, not the aesthetics. Follow the credentials and the evidence, not just the hype. Question everything. Ask yourself, is this trendy? Is this just appealing to my emotions? Where's the data? What does the research actually say? You deserve real information that's going to help you reach your goals, not just feel good for 5 minutes. If this resonated for you, hit that subscribe button. Follow me on Instagram at JenWallFitness. And if you're looking for additional support and guidance on your fitness journey, you can click the link down below to apply for one-on-one coaching. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.